the YouTube channel where I try to share some tips, tricks, and information on how to build production-ready and enterprise applications, as well as some business automations by leveraging nothing but no-code and low-code platforms. So today I'm just going to show a quick little tip on how to create a user icon or badge in Bubble using nothing but a simple text element. So let's dive right into it. So first of all, when I talk about a user icon or badge, really what I'm referring to is this little circle here that you see, right, where you'll either see a profile photo or somebody's initials, things like that. Today I'm going to be focusing on the initial portion. So I'm not going to get into the photos and how to display that, but we're going to see how to replicate what you're seeing on the screen here. So what I've got over in Bubble is I've got Bubble's header and obviously some links here. And I'm just going to put a badge in this little group. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just select a text element and drop it in here. And now I am using the new responsive engine from Bubble. I'm not going to talk about that today, but I do find that this really makes things a lot easier. So if I go into my text element, first thing I always do on any element is just rename it. So I know this is going to be my badge icon. We'll just call it that. And I'm going to do some styling and some layout things here. So first thing I want to do is make sure that this is visible on page load. I'm going to center it vertically. I'm going to make this fixed width. You can play around with the sizes and all different styling based on your needs. But I've found that a 30 pixel square works pretty good. So that's fine there. I'll go back to appearance. And initially, I'm going to use first and last initial. So I'm just going to put in some static text here. I'm going to remove the styling here as well. I'm going to center it. Let's see. I'm going to make the text white. And then I'll make let's see. I'm going to make a background color. And let's see. You can use black for now just to kind of show what we've got, right? So initially, this is what we've got for our icon, right? Really where I guess the magic, if you will, trying to replicate that circle comes in is really nothing more than using the roundness little attribute here. So all you want to do, obviously it's just got 0 through 20 listed here, but you can type in whatever number you want. And if you do 50, you can see that now, perfect. I've already got a circle. Now there's still some, you can see the text is centered, horizontally, but it's not centered vertically. And the way I found to do that easiest is just to use the line spacing. And typically for a 30 by 30 square, again, what I found is something along the lines of like 1.9 seems to work best. So I'll put 1.9 in there. It doesn't show up. So if I go back 1.8, there we go. So now my text seems to be centered vertically and horizontally. I don't actually like the background color. I want it to be the same background color as this text. So what I'll do is I'll just go over here. I'll edit this style real quick. And I'll just copy this text color. Go back to design. Go back to my text element. And I will change my background color to that. Okay, cool. So we're looking good. I think I would like my text to be bold, so I'll bold it. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So let's preview this. Right, so I'll just go to a blank index page, and I'll hit preview here. Right, I've actually got my app opened over here, and we'll see what we've got so far. All right, so that looks pretty good. So how can I get this, let's see, created based on a user's initials? So obviously, if I go back to my header, when we started this, I just used my initials, but I want this to be the user's initials. So if I go look at my data, I've got my user um, table here, and I've got a couple of different things, right? I've got a first name, a last name, and a full name, right? And so this is all going to be dependent on sort of how your user model is set up, right? As you saw back in Google, they're just using your first initial. So if you have a first name, you could just pull a first initial. I'm again going to use first and last initial. So I'll show you how I go about doing that. So obviously, we're going to use dynamic data, and it's going to be the current user's full name, or you could use current user's first name or last name, however you want to do it. But in this situation, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. So I'm going to use full name. And what I'm going to do is split this by a space, right? Because there's going to be a space between their first name and last name in their full name. So all I do is click in here and hit the space bar and close. And then after I split that, the first name is going to be the first item, and I want their first letter in that first name, so it's going to be truncated to 1. Right? So let's see what we've got now. Okay, so now we've got a J, and the reason we have a J is because, again, if I go back to data, what I did is I ran this application as John, right? So if you click the run as, it would run it as John. So I've got a J showing up. So cool. So we got our first part working really well, exactly how we want it. So let's go in and add the last name. So I'm going to do space. Actually, I don't think I need a space between the letters. So we're just going to do, again, current users, full name, split by, a space, and then this time we're going to take the last item because that'll be the last name, and then we're going to truncate that to the first character. Right? And then if I preview my application, very cool. So I've got John Jones, right? So if I close this and then we'll now go back and run it as Mike Hearn, let's see if we're getting what we want. There it is. So there's our icon. Now, obviously, you could do a lot of things with this, right? When you click on it, you could open up a menu for your profile. I am going to just do a few little conditional things here to make it look a little bit better. So I'm going to say when this text is hovered, I want to change the background color just a little bit so people obviously know it's being hovered. And so we'll just lighten this up, something like that. Let's go see what that looks like. And now when we hover, you can see that the background's lightening up. We could probably darken the text as well, just as examples. The only thing I really want to do here, so if I go back to my index page and just hit preview from here, I'm not running it as a user, right? So let's see what happens if I preview from here. So it's going to have the MH still stored from the last session. But if a user were to come here and wasn't logged in, we don't want to show this badge, right? So the way we're going to do that is go back to our header. We're going to select this. And we're simply going to say when current user, let's see, is empty, then we're going to say this element is visible, and we're not going to select it. So what this will do is if somebody were to access the page but they weren't logged in, it will just not show the icon here. So hopefully this has been helpful. Again, just an easy way to do a little icon and badge here. There's still a lot you could do, again, from here, but just wanted to show you a quick way on how to get somebody's initials in a little icon or badge. So hopefully you have found this helpful. In 2022, I plan to do a lot more publishing on the channel, content similar to this. So if you find this useful, obviously I would ask that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so you'll be alerted when I release new content, and obviously share this with others that you think could benefit from this. So thanks so much, and happy no coding.